he went down to, he took a canoe and went down to Washington, D.C. to meet Teddy Roosevelt, out to the White House.
On a river or how?
No, on the ocean. He took an ocean. He went down the ocean, and then it came up to the Potomac, and I forget what his name was, but he was the Penobscot tribe. He was a famous chief.
Yeah.
He was the chief of the tribe when that Indian, and I can't think of his name either. All I can think of is Sokolowski. It's something like that.
Yeah.
Who was a pitcher for the Cleveland Indians, and he became the Indian on the Buffalo Nickel.
Wow. Yeah. He's a craggy looking guy.
He was and he was unfortunately alcohol really took its toll on him. He went right down the tubes.
So guys from Maine like to travel. They traveled all over the world. They're born travelers.
Sure. Yeah, we delivered ice to India, China.
Yeah. So what got you out of Maine and over to India? How did you went to England? You went to England first, right?
No.
No.
Okay. Went to I took a flight from New York to Amsterdam, and
that's the beginning of the
and
trip.
I remember being at Dom Square and saying, "What the fuck are we doing here?"
Is that a square in Amsterdam?
Yeah.
Dom
Amsterdam.
Okay.
Dom Square.
Okay. Now, what year was that?
That was 1971.
Okay. So you're there. Some guys say, "Hey, let's get on a bus and go to India."
No.
Okay.
We just you can see yourself falling down the rabbit hole, in Amsterdam. We decided to go someplace else, and so we just.
So what was the next stop after Amsterdam?
Well, we got bikes, and we headed north out of Amsterdam, and after we went across the Asterdijk, which is about 20 miles long, and it was very windy, we sold our bikes.
That's one way to keep traveling. You got to sell your stuff as you keep moving.
We started hitchhiking, and ended up in. Went through Germany, and then ended up in Greece. Ended up in Crete.
What time of year was this?
This was in I think July, August.
Oh, nice.
July. It was a great time.
Paradise.
And then it started to rain, so we had to leave Crete. So we went to Rhodes, and then went to Turkey, and then up to Istanbul.
And that's the start of the trail.
That was the start of the trail. Yeah. That was the start.
When you got to Istanbul, what I've always heard is that there were like certain places people would go, and they would tell you where to go, and it was like a whole network.
What was it? Yeah, it was right near the Blue Mosque. It was I don't know. It was called a pudding shop or something. Everybody put up notices, looking for a ride, looking for riders,
Yeah, this is all before all the travel books and.
Yes, much before the travel books.
Yeah, it was all word of mouth.
And you could get mail at American Express and things like that at that time.
Yeah, and the borders were open. I mean, this is what's, I think, one of the more astounding things to think about now is that you could go through Iran, you could go through Afghanistan, you could go through.
Yeah, but it wasn't that easy. I mean, I almost got busted in Iran coming. Well, see, we took a train from. Istanbul. What happened is we were in Istanbul for maybe 3 weeks. And we fell into the opium spell, and had to get out. Had to break.
3 years later, you said, "I got to get out of here."
That was 3 weeks, and we got on a train and we went and we ended up at Erzurum, and then going across from Erzurum, it was right near Mount Ararat. Okay. And then going into Iran. I had this stupid book magazine, Oz. You remember that? It was in English.
I do remember Oz. Yeah, it was like kind of like the Rolling Stone.
Yeah, it was like Rolling Stone, but it was very avant-garde and things like this. And the Iranian guards, man, they came right down on me. Mm-hmm. What is this?
Yeah.
And but they did give me. I had a transit visa to get through. I think was a week, 2 weeks.
So you just wanted to get through. You had the week. Let's get through the country and get out.
Yeah, well, that's what we had to do. We had to get to Afghanistan.
I mean, who wanted to hang around Iran anyway back then?
Well, it was rather interesting, but the Shah was in power.
Yeah, so it was like Sabak and everything.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, and I mean, there's some great restaurants, food and things like that. But the Shah had this Yeah, the rich had their little playground, their little, like bowling alleys and slot car races and
there was a lot of money there. That's for
oh
sure.
yeah, and they had great stereo systems for sale and things like that, swimming pools and stuff like this. But the poor people couldn't get even close to the place. But
Sounds
because
like Saudi Arabia
because we were
is now,
Americans, we
yeah.
could get in. But they loved Americans. Yeah.
Now you really, wherever you went, you fit in with the people that were there. You tried to fit in.
Yes,
get
of course.
To know, and you
Oh, yeah.
weren't the American just traveling.
No.
No.
There was and because of lack of funds and lack of stuff,
You were one of the poor people.
I was one of the poor people, and I had to, and when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Yeah. So you ate their food, hung
Ate
out
their
with
food,
them,
hung out
listened to
with
their
them,
music.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and traveled mostly by bus through Iran.
So that was the cheap way to go. It was probably what, a couple bucks to go, 1,000 miles.
Yeah, it probably was something like that. I can't remember what the exact price was, but it was very cheap, and it was.
But you just kept going. It's like,
yeah, we just kept going
did you
forward.
have a goal to say I want to get?
Yeah,
to Nepal?
we wanted to get to India,
Okay.
and Nepal was always on the horizon, but India was the big thing.
How much of India did you travel around?
Didn't.
You just found your spot. And
No. The trouble is that when we came into India, we had to make. We heard rumblings that there was going to be a war when we were in Afghanistan between India and Pakistan.
Okay.
And so we had to get across that border. And so we got across the border, and we went into and it's a great border crossing. It's right at Lahore, where they do all this. You got to see this great movie. What's his name from Michael Palin from the.
Is this the one where they march up right up?
Oh,
next
right,
to
right
each
up to
other,
the gate,
and then they turn around.
They turn around. And
It's like-
they slam the gate in each other's face.
Right, good. It's chest to chest. Yeah.
And they have their turbans. They're all starched, and they're like
and there's like an audience watching and cheering.
They're like roosters.
Yeah, I've seen some film clips of that.
Yeah,
We'll have to put that
they
in
do the
background.
high step.
Yeah.
Slam.
It's straight out of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. But anyway, so we got across there. We got into Delhi, and we were heading. We wanted to go to Agra. I wanted to see the Taj Mahal. That's what I wanted to see. So, and then the war broke out, and we were Americans. We were on the wrong side of the.
And you were at the Taj Mahal. You said when like jets flew.
Oh yeah, well yeah. There was
they-
this way. There was one jet and one plane following it. And it was like
Pakistani jet.
It had to be because
pretty
there was
bold.
another jet was shooting at it.
Yeah.
And they were shooting rockets and things like this.
We were trying to reclaim the Taj Mahal since it's a Muslim site.
No. It was full moon, December 7th, 1971. It was full moon night, and the Taj Mahal, the dome radiates the moon,
Nice.
like it would bleed. So it was like a beacon for them. They knew where they were. And they knew where Agra Airport was after. So that's what they were after.
Who were you traveling with? Did you have a
Yeah,
gang that you traveled with?
Yeah, I had this friend who we left the States, and Bob and I traveled, the whole thing, and then
You guys still see each other?
we do. We're really close friends. Yeah, in fact, I should see him soon. And we had this. The other monkey was when we were on Crete. We got a letter. I think was it Crete or someplace where we had American Express. It must have been that this friend of ours was coming. He was going to meet us in Beirut. Well, we never made it to Beirut. We ended up north instead of going south at Marmaris in Turkey.
Yeah.
And so David didn't know what the hell was going on. He was, there's no way to get in touch with us. And when we were in Kabul, went into a coffee shop, and there was David sitting at the table. So
I'm sure the days you could just run into people because there were certain spots.
there were certain
everybody
spots,
went.
yeah. So it was like, so he joined so we became threesome, and
Now, some of the stories you've told me in the past, I found like so totally unbelievable that that's why I wanted to get this on tape. And, show this to people and say, is this guy telling the truth yet? And,
Okay.
I think that we need to record this stuff because it is so unbelievable. And it's from a time that will never come back. I mean, the
Oh, I
world
know,
has changed
I
so
know.
much politically and,
Yeah, people have told me I should put this down on paper too, because it's
Yeah.
really, because I mean, there are stories that.
yeah.
Hey,
Well, this could be a start.
Unfucking believable.
This could
Yeah.
be the start. Let's
Excuse my language.
we can edit. We can edit that. It's like a
Over,
mumbling.
whistle. Beep.
One thing I want to get on tape, and then I'm not going to keep you here all day. We'll get you at your home where you can relax more. The story of when you were at the funeral of the prince in Nepal. That's the most
The
amazing.
king.
Oh, the king. Excuse me.
It was the king.
You knew the prince.
I knew the prince. I knew Behendra. Yeah, we were in. Yeah, and yeah. In fact, I had seen Behendra the night before his dad died because he used to come down to this coffee shop in Kathmandu.
How relaxed is that?
And
Prince
yeah, and we
hanging out.
and he had these two big mastiffs. I mean,
So he
I
was-
don't know if they were Afghan mastiffs. I mean, they were
Yeah.
big dogs. The Asian mastiffs are big, and crazy, but well, and he used to come down, and because he loved music, he really loved Dylan. He went to Harvard for a year or two. I don't know. Maybe. And he also went to Oxford, Cambridge, and he went all. Royalty gets to go every place.
Right. Like Deerfield Academy or wherever.
And
right.
so, yeah, and I didn't know Behendra that long. When we got into Nepal. It was probably it was less than a month, wasn't it? But anyway, he would bring hashish from Mustang. And have you ever heard of Mustang?
I have heard of Mustang. I can't say I know that much about it. Is it a separate country?
No, it's
No?
a province in Nepal, but it is verboten for foreigners to go there. It's a king's paradise, basically.
Okay.
And he used to bring us hash, but he didn't smoke with us
It was illegal.
No,
No?
no, it was legal. This was before what's his name from who ran the World Bank? Who was his name? Oh God, Twit for brains. You know them all. Kissinger.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
One of those. One of the Illuminati.
Right. He was World Bank. But anyway, I was there when he shut it down. It's when shut down the hash business. But anyway,
That's hard to believe
It-
because
it was-
it
it
had been
was
part
like-
of their culture for so long.
well, it is because it was a Hindu monarchy, and it's part of the sacraments is to smoke ganja or hash.
Is Nepal all Hindu? Is there are there other religions there?
Majority is Hindu.
So Bahindra and the king, they were Hindu.
They were Hindu.
royalty.
Yes. And he,
How did the king die?
I think it was just a heart attack.
Yeah.
And and it was rather sudden. I remember I woke up in the morning and all the Nepalese, they were all shaving their heads, so you knew something was up. And I went into Kathmandu, and there was Behendra sitting on a bloody elephant. That's the last time I saw him basically, close.
Because he became the king.
He became the king right then,
Right on that spot.
and they had to, and so they had to go and they had to cremate the dead king.
That's the story that I want to hear.
Yeah, and so they went to, so we all went out to Pashupatinath because all the sadhus they were gathering, they're getting ready for Shivaratri, which is in February. So I'm not exactly sure what the date of the king's passing. It might have been end of December. It might have been in the beginning of January or something. But I don't, But all these sadhus were starting to come to town because it was. They have 4 festivals a year.
Now, are sadhus considered saints, or what is their position?
They're holy men. They're holy.
Holy men,
Yeah.
Wandering saints.
Wandering saints,
holy men.
and they follow the. They worship basically Shiva. I guess some are Vishnu, but mostly Shiva, and Pashupatinath is one of the 4 places where Shiva is remains are. Well, supposedly his head is I don't know, his head is there. His Kailash, Mount Kailash, Varanasi, or Benares, and I forget what maybe there are only three.
So you learned a lot about the Hindu religion when you were there. That was kind of
Well,
something-
yeah. I mean, I was, it was pretty obvious, with all the, all the temples, and you hear the Buddhists too are around there. I mean, I live just below Swayambhunath.
Now, were the Hindus then kind of casual about their religion, or was it like really strict? Because it seems like it's gotten really strict lately. They're like, the Christians here are all of a sudden, all evangelicals or something. It's like now they've become
Born agains? I don't think so. I don't remember them
Were
really
they more
pushing
relaxed?
their, more. I don't remember them really pushing their religion. They would invite you to temple or to festivals or things like that.
Right.
But
and there must have been some great food at those, right?
oh yeah, well yeah, and there was some great stuff, and then there was there was a sect that we went to one which they sacrifice a goat.
But most of them were vegetarian.
Yeah, most of them were vegetarians. Yeah.
Now tell me about this funeral pyre, because that's I think is like one of
Oh.
the greatest images of all time.
It was like it was humongous. It was all sandalwood. I forget what they said the cost was. It was like 100,000 rupees. Well, there were 10 rupees to $1.
Yeah. Where do you get sandalwood? Does that grow there or something?
It's probably, I think in India. I think I mean sandalwood incense and stuff like that.
Sure.
It probably does down in the Bihar, which is the
Mhm.
lowlands in Nepal, And I don't know. It's a good question, but it was all sandalwood, and we were with the sadhus, and Bahendra didn't come down to but his emissary, his men in waiting or whatever, his bodyguards came down and they delivered food to all the sadhus, and we were there, so we got the food too. It was just
Spread
rice,
it, yeah.
rice dal,
Yeah.
and then they choose a sadhu to go to the actual cremation, and they picked this guy. He was very well respected, and he went, and that was the last time we saw him too, because he goes up. He has as it was explained to me, the ritual is that the sadhu and the new king sit there over the funeral pyre, and the sadhu reaches into the flames and grabs the belly button of the king,
Yeah.
because it doesn't burn. It's a hard.
Yeah, it's kind of gristly.
Yeah. So he takes that belly button, he breaks it up, and puts it into a chillum, and with hashish, and smokes it with the new king, and then he has a vision of what his reign is going to be
Future is
like.
gonna be
His
like,
future
yeah.
is going to be, and God knows if he knew it. If he, because it turned out
It was a horrible future.
it was a horrible. Yeah, it was a terrible future.
We'll talk about that later.
But he and so then Behendra, after he hears this story, he then gives this fellow $1 million.
The sadhu.
And Sadhu $1 million and banishes him from Nepal forever. So what he does, I mean, he goes down to India, and he opens up a school, opens up an ashram.
Sadhu school.
Yeah.
Wow. That is just
Cool.
amazing. Yeah. I wonder how he knew that he was supposed to reach in and grab the navel and smoke it.
Well, see, as sadhus do that. They reach into the.
So other funeral pyres.
Yeah, so
do.
it's
Okay.
it's a because the ash of the human body is sacred. It's like this. There's this picture in here of this guy.
We'll pull some of these pictures
You
out.
know,
and
a
put
guy
them-
drinking out
put
of a
them in
skull.
here. Yeah.
And so it's the whole thing, and they take the life of the
Wow.
of the of the deceased, of another being.
Uh-huh.
They channel their energy or whatever. It's God. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, the stories. I mean, it seems exotic to us, but it's just part of their religion. It's not exotic to them. This
Right.
is what they believe. So
That's what they believe in.
yeah. Okay, so after Bahindra became king, did you stay friends, or did you say it's
Never saw
time
him
to
again.
get out of here? Yeah.
Never saw him again.
Yeah.
No, never saw him again. He was because he was just taken away. He was in the palace. He was
Yeah, you couldn't touch
He,
him.
he,
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
He wasn't immortal anymore. Yeah.
No, he wasn't. And I don't know of him ever coming back to that coffee shop. From
The
friends.
king is in the coffee shop.
The king. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the coffee shop? We can look it
No.
up. We can-
There were a bunch of them. I have.
And they drank coffee, not tea.
I have a poster at home. What is it? It wasn't the log cabin. What was the log cabin? And what was the other one? I have the card from the place and a poster. It says, it's.
Now, from Nepal, did you get to Tibet at all?
I walked across the river,
Okay.
but that was it.
Okay.
And then when I came back, the soldiers were there for me. And the police
Some
going, "What are
crazy
you,
guys
what
like
is
walking
your-
across the
what is
border.
your- what is your purpose in life?" Well, I don't know.
I'm lost. I'm looking for Portland, Maine.
Right. But no.
What other areas around there did you get to?
No.
What are the other countries around there?
Well, see, I was banished from India. I mean, I had to go when we went back. We had to make it. The Red Cross opened the border
Because of the
for
war.
a day because of the war. Yeah, and we didn't have enough money to fly, so
Mhm.
yeah, we had to make that. So I didn't spend as much time in India as I wanted to.
Yeah. Now, have you been back since?
No.
Is that on your bucket list?
I don't know if it's a bucket list. I'd like to go back, but
Yeah.
I mean, but it's
It's going to be changed, right?
it's
Yeah.
just a sea of humanity.
Kathmandu is now 4 million people.
Yeah,
It's,
but see, when I was there wasn't plastic, and now everything is plastic. You used to eat off of. They'd give you
Leaf or
plates.
something.
Yeah, leaves. Yeah, they would staple. With little bamboo skewers. They put a couple of leaves together. And make a bowl, and they have it. You eat and throw it over the side.
I met a student. She went to Smith, and she was from Kathmandu, and I had a couple
really?
of nice conversations with her. And she said, "Yeah, it's a population of 4 million people." I said, "Wow." I mean, I always pictured it as being this, small city. She
Yeah.
says, "No, it's just ballooned into this.
It really has. Well-
immense metropolis."
When I got there, the road had only been in existence for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Or maybe 4 years or something like that. So they.
One thing that cracked me up is I'm watching television, that buy a second home someplace, and they're showing these people a house in Kathmandu. It's like
Yeah.
this couple. It's like, yeah, you can buy a nice house, $250,000,
Right.
little place up on the hill. It's like, wow, sure has changed.
It sure has changed. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've
Very
gone.
westernized.
I've gone on Google, and I've seen where a little village I used to live in. There's a goddamn highway that goes through it now.
Yeah, all of those countries. I mean, I can imagine. I mean, you just see China. I mean, what's happened there? It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, and they have all these-
India's
yeah.
the next to end up like China. Just
And they have all the bed and breakfasts up to towards the Tibetan border, and you just God. And
yeah.
but unfortunately, I think it's there's a lot of the young kids, of that upper class in Kathmandu. They have a lot of fast cars. They have a lot of fast motorcycles. They have a lot of fast,
Mhm.
and drink and drugs, and they're belligerent.
Yeah. You see
Unfortunately.
it with the Saudi princes. and
Oh
everything.
shit! Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah,
they're
you see-
entitled.
Yeah, you see it.
They're
You
entitled
see it
to
in
whatever they
London.
want.
You see it in London or in L.A. They have drag races.
And they can't get prosecuted because they're
Right,
royalty.
and they fly their cars, their Lamborghinis or their
Mhm.
Ferraris. some guy in London. This is off the subject. Some guy in London. There were all these kind of Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and everything. They're, lined up. I think it was in Kensington or something. And he came in and he parked his car. Next to it was a little Ford, but he had taken and he put gold wrappers from candies, stuck it all over it to make it look gold, like
So you could fit
like
in.
the other cars.
Now, how long was your overseas visit?
It was over a year.
Yeah, that's a good long time to see
Yeah,
everything, let it sink
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Culture shock when you came home?
Oh Jesus, yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
came back
I
to
couldn't- I
Maine,
couldn't-
or
I
did you
couldn't-
come back to Northampton?
I came back to Maine
Yeah.
and Connecticut. You know, it was just yeah. I couldn't drive on the highways. Drove me nuts.
What's the wrong way, right? For one thing.
No, it was just everybody was going so fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was used to just you know, the roads were completely different. Of course, you had to do with truck traffic through Iran and things like that, but.
You saw, this was another thing you told me recently that I thought was pretty amazing, a caravan. I forget where it was.
Oh Jesus! Yeah.
so it was
Oh yeah.
the
Up in
camels
Afghanistan,
and
up
the
in
whole
yeah,
bit.
up in Balkh, which is the ancient city of Bactria. The Bactrian camel comes from that.
Is that
neck of the woods.
Afghanistan?
Yeah, Afghanistan. It's right outside of Mazar-i Sharif.
Did you spend much time?
I went back there. I spent a week going, and then I spent a week coming back
Yeah.
up there. It was really gorgeous. Zoroaster's buried there,
Okay.
and there are only white doves.
Wow.
You go to Mazar-i Sharif, which is 10 miles away, and there are black and white pigeons. You come to the town square by Zoroaster's, mausoleum. It's a town center, and there are just white doves.
I wonder if we'll ever get to see these countries again, or is this just like a permanent warfare that will never end?
Oh, you'll see them again. Yeah, I mean, they open up. I mean, Alexander the Great was through there. And,
Yeah.
you can't. It's
It'll end sometime.
yeah.
I would love to see
If
Afghanistan.
if our government would stop meddling with,
Yeah. They keep us from being able to go over.
oh Jesus.
Yeah, it used to be Americans would go to these countries and we'd be welcomed. It's like, hey.
Yeah, I had to be careful. I couldn't. It was hard to be an American, even traveling then.
Yeah.
Because
Because of Vietnam.
Because of Vietnam, and so I used to tell people I was from Canada, and I don't have a Maine accent.
Well, people used to put the Canadian maple leaf on their backpacks.
On the backpacks, that's right.
That would protect you. Yeah.
You sure would.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to wrap it up today.
Good, thanks.
Nice introduction. Do some background. Get some pictures out of here, and just see where we go.